A bit about why this was important for you.
Well, I think it's important for all of us here, but certainly the women of the House were extremely concerned as the reports became apparent that not only do we see this being an issue throughout the entire country, but here in the legislature itself. And we wanted to make sure that whatever way we were addressing it was going to take some of the suggestions that we had into account and make sure they were incorporated. And particularly, we were interested in making sure that anyone who felt like they had been harassed knew that we had a policy that was going to have some teeth to it, that would give clear direction about what they needed to do to make their complaint, that would give more direction about what would actually be happening if an investigation occurred. We know that one of the primary reasons that people, and oftentimes it is women, don't report instances of harassment and or assault is because they're not confident in the system to address their complaint. And oftentimes they become re-victimized when they do complain. So we wanted to make sure that whatever revisions we did, we're going to take those things into account, give us a policy that was respectful, give us a policy that was more thorough in spelling out what would be done, what action would be taken, so that we would have some confidence in the policy, credibility. And I think that that's been achieved by and large.
Talk to us about
Well, for one thing, we spelled out what some instances of harassment might be, but then we also spelled out sanctions so that it wasn't just, we'll handle this, which the previous policy said. It actually gave examples of what could happen if indeed it was determined through an investigation that the harassment had occurred. As far as elected officials, we have a slippery slope here. We don't know exactly how to address that, and it's a challenge throughout the entire country. We've looked at what other states have done. This is a challenge for all of us when you have persons in power and who are there because they've been elected by the people rather than being employed by somebody. The lines are a little different than they would be for somebody who's a strict employee. This policy does address the fact that we are requiring training, and that training, if you attend that training, it will be documented that you've attended it, and that is public information. That's one step toward giving some assurance that we can ensure that members will also participate in the training that we're requiring of everybody else. There'll be some accountability there. In terms of what would happen specifically to a member, I think Chairman Guerin addressed that a while ago, that it requires the full House to do something. But I think that the policy at least puts in place that if a member is a part of this, that there will still be an investigation. If we need to get a third party, we will do that. And that investigation, whatever the results of that are, will then be looked at to determine if indeed an infraction has occurred. And if it does involve a member, that would be taken to House administration, to the committee. And if the committee voted to take it to the full House, then that's what we will do.